How are you doing? I hope so. You will be fine. Okay, beta, today we will discuss about the drafting. Definition of drafting. Drafting. First of all, we will discuss about the definition of draft. Then we will discuss introduction. And on third, we will discuss about the principle of drafting. Then we will discuss main points of drafting. And on fifth number, we will discuss about the three fundamentals of drafting. Ensuring correctness. Okay, but today we will discuss about the definition of drafting, introduction, its principle, and main points of drafting, three fundamentals of drafting, ensuring correctness. Okay, tell me, what is drafting? What do you know about draft? Yes? G? Do you know? ड्राफ्ट क्या होता है? A draft is an outline in the form of rough notes of something to be done or made. A letter, speech, plan, design, drawing, and so on. And what you want to write down, first of all, you will have to make a draft of this thing. जी, एक सांचा सा उसका बनाना पड़ता है, एक स्ट्रक्चर बनाना पड़ता है. दिस इज कॉल्ड ड्राफ्टिंग. इन अदर वर्ड्स, a draft is a rough copy of documents to be perfected later. Getting idea? When you want to write down something, you want to prepare your assignments topic, you want to prepare your essay writing, if you want to prepare your article, your thesis, your proposal, if you want to make it good and attractive, for this you will have to make a draft of these things on which you are going to write down. Making a draft, sketching a draft, you will be able to write down effectively. You know, as per conventional or official practice, we can say that on cases where communication are to be issued, an officer concerned should submit together with his note, draft, or the approval to the higher authority or your advisor or supervisor who has to settle the matter finally. A higher authority or supervisor, if he so wishes, may prepare a draft himself and authorize it, issue or put it up to the next higher officer. There are 5 stages of drafting process which we apply. At each stage of the process, the concept is developed and defined. The first stage is understanding. What is understanding? What do you think about its stage? The first task for the writer is to understand what is draft about, what he was going to write down, what type of material in his mind for going to write essay or article or thesis. He should get understanding all the material which is related to his or her topic. This is called understanding. Analysis. And the analysis is the relation to existing policies, rules and regulations. For example, if you want to write down an essay or proposal or thesis, these three things have different rules and regulations which we will have to apply during writing. You know, if we want to write down a thesis, we will have to apply here. First of all, we mention our name, our supervisor name and our university name. On the second page, we use, we want to write down a thesis, we will have to apply all the rules, regulations and policies which are existing and are necessary for writing a thesis. First of all, we will write down our name, our supervisor name and university name, then declaration, after this summary, after this the statement and the causes, the statement of the thesis and thesis questions, after this review of literature and methodology, then conclusion and so on, what we want to include in this thesis, appendices and references, bibliography, etc. So this is the way of writing the thesis. We will have to apply some rules and regulations to write down the thesis. These rules, regulations are necessary. If we want to write down an article, so we will have to keep in our mind three steps: introduction, body, in body explanation of the topic which we are going to write down, then conclusion, in which our arguments should be present. Understand? These are the rules of writing an article, and different writing styles or pattern has different rules and regulations. So this is necessary for us to analyze the rules and regulation and policies which are existing, that writing which we are going to write down. Getting it better? Next, planning and composition. Planning. After gaining an understanding of the proposal or assignment or a thesis and assessing their implications in relation to existing policies, the writer reaches the design or planning the stage of drafting. How will he make his draft? Through draft, he will be able to write down his work effectively. Composition. The composition is usually described as polishing the draft. Finalization, or you can say scrutiny. What do you know about scrutiny? Yes, the stage of scrutiny includes much revisionary work carried out both by the writer himself and those who instruct him. At this stage, the writer must discipline to take a critical gaze at his finished draft. How? When he write down any work, so after finishing it, he put glance on his work, on his words, on his sentences, on his paragraph, on his passage. How? The words which he has used in his writing, whether these are unique, easy, concise, or you find ambiguity in these words, or these are difficult in the form of phrases, or in the form of ambiguous sentences. The sentences are smooth. The first sentence has cohesion with the other sentence or not. The first sentence link is present with the other sentence or not. Sentence structure is perfect or not. The paragraph which you have written, it fulfills the requirement of paragraph writings or not. All these questions should be present in your mind when you are going to drafting after finishing his work. Getting it? And the most important thing is that you should see the logical sequence in your writing style is present or not. The repetition of words is present, you should remove it, because repetition of the words create monotony and tediousness. Getting it? Secondly, he must get down to tedious matter of detail and check cross references, the use of definition, consistency of language, spelling, punctuation, marks, and the sentence structure also I have told you about it. A rhythm, consistency, cohesion and coherence should be present in your writing which you are going to write. Now we will discuss about the principle of drafting. Yes, before going to start drafting the principle, you should observe the drafting and your writing material, that the writer should move in logical progression and order from understanding to analysis to design to composition and scrutiny or finalization. He should revise his draft till maximum perfection of the draft and to his satisfaction. He should also explain about drafting dictating instructions to his supervisor if so desired by him. He should state clearly and fully the principal objects of the draft. His draft should refer to all known implications and difficulties, whether legal, social, or administrative. He should also study all relevant rules and regulations. A draft should be couched in such language and style that exact intention of the order which has been passed is completely and clearly conveyed. Language should be lucid, precise, courteous, dignified, and decent in which you are going to write down. The reader understands what you are saying to, what you are communicating to. And you should follow 7 C's during writing. I have already told you about 7 C's. Do you remember? Yes, students. Do you remember? Yes. There should be no scope whatsoever for misunderstanding words. Conveying the right meaning should be used. Getting it? Your draft should be worded in an effective, impressive, and ambiguous language so that nothing can be twisted out the content. The sentence should be grammatically correct. You should use subject, verb, object, adverb, adjective, and prepositions in correct way. Draft should be exactly to the point and as far as possible brief. All the relevant points are to be stated on the draft. The extra things, extra material, extra data should be removed, which you have mentioned. The data which you have mentioned in your draft should be according to your topic which you have in your mind and you are going to describe